LEGO have slowly but surely been revealing to us new Ninjago 15th anniversary sets, and the two in particular that we have had revealed is the character display and Lloyd's Titan mech. And they've definitely been getting a lot of positive reception, and I'm gonna be honest, I am very excited to get my hands on all of these sets. But the thing is that in my opinion, the character display and Lloyd's Titan mech demonstrate the perfect problem when it does come to these 15th anniversary sets. But before I do approach the problem when it does come to these sets, I just want to talk about them generally first, because I honestly do have a lot of positive things to say about both of them respectively. The one I want to talk about first is Lloyd's Titan mech. This set is going to be retailing for £120 and comes with 1,293 pieces, and I have to say, the build is absolutely fantastic looking. A mentality I have always had when it comes to a lot of different products that I buy is that you can weirdly always make something better when you give it a sword, but in this instance it's giving it a shield. It does absolute wonders for this build, and honestly there is so much about the build that just looks so intricate and so interesting to actually see. It is very clearly based off of the Cole Titan mech, and I'm not mad at that whatsoever because that one is also fantastic. So if that's any indication of what we're going to be getting, I am more than happy with the product that we are going to be having. But honestly, I really do think just everything flows extremely well. The colors look nice, everything about it just looks absolutely amazing. It looks just very fun to handle. I honestly do think it's going to be a no-brainer when it actually does come out. I think anyone who's interested in the 15th anniversary sets will not be passing this one up, and I for one cannot wait to review this set. But that's the thing, there is one very major glaring issue when it does come to it, and again, ironically considering that this is based off of the Cole Titan mech, it takes the Cole Titan mech problem to a further extent. And that is it coming down to the lack of minifigures. The whole thing of the Cole Titan mech was the fact it only had one, and in this set you have three. But the thing is that it's just simply nowhere near enough, because you have the Lloyd DX, which is available in other sets, you then have Grimfax, which is exclusive and a nice addition to have, but it doesn't justify the price, and then of course the Master of Ice. And if you do want your collectibles, you do have to get your set for that reason. But the thing is that it is simply not enough. In my opinion, this set should have had way more minifigures than what we actually got, and in my opinion what we should have gotten specifically was additional Blizzard Samurai, and we should have had some sort of variant of Akita. If we didn't get the wolf form or the minifigure form of her, maybe even going as far as having Gataru. They should have had something that should have made this set more worth it than what we currently have, because in my opinion as it stands, 3 minifigures is nowhere near this worth of a price. It's purely held by the fact that it is a fantastic looking mech. So don't get me wrong, I like the set, I actually think it's fantastic and I will definitely be picking it up, but it is showing a glaring issue like I said when it does come to minifigures. The lack of them I think is honestly just downright bad, and it's ironic considering of course it is based off of the Cole Titan mech. These Titan mech sets really do need more in the minifigure department, but they are just simply not doing it. But again, I will still be buying it. But anyways, now let's look at the absolute opposite end of the problem and look at the other one, which is the Ninja display stand. This set has 447 pieces and is retailing for about £40 or maybe 45, I'm not entirely certain. But that's the thing, this is an extremely good price and this set quite literally comes with everything. It's a very small build, but it's not meant to be any sort of playset, it's meant to be a display piece like the name entails, and honestly it is put together fairly well for it. I really like the details, I really like the bit of the monastery that we did get, and I honestly do think it's a very nice build and will go nice in any Ninjago collection. But of course, I do think a lot of people will be buying it for the exact opposite reason. And that reason is quite literally the fact that it comes with every single one of the Legacy ZX Ninja. It comes with also a Samurai X, a Wu, and the Master of Lightning. That is 8 minifigures in a £40 set. That is absolutely ludicrous and nearly 3 times the amount of a set that is 3 times the price. I genuinely do not know how they justify this kind of decision. Objectively, yes, this is a fantastic deal by all account, and that again is going to be the reason why I buy it. I just simply do not understand how LEGO does come to these decisions. I don't understand how they can justify a set having so many minifigures for such a small price, and then the bigger sets barely having any minifigures at that, because it is just simply a case of being completely unbalanced, and honestly does take away the justification for the Titan mech. I will still be getting it like I said, it's just I'm not going to be overly happy about the fact that I will be. But at least with the reveal of this set, I can finally talk about the ZX Ninja and my opinion on them. I honestly think it's an extremely mixed bag at best. I will go from best to worst. The best one of this bunch is without a doubt Kai. It is the most faithful recreation, and I really do think it is very solid for what it is and will definitely be shaping up to be my favourites. Second favorite of the bunch is definitely going to be Zane. He's kind of the one that we've seen the least of, but I definitely do think it's going to be a decent minifigure overall. I'm very curious about that head print because it seems to be exclusive, and I'm definitely curious to know how this design does translate. But I do think from the very brief shots that we actually have, it is very solid for what it is. But coming in at third place, it does bounce between Lloyd and Cole for me. The thing is that they are fairly interesting minifigures, and of course both of them are meant to have a different color and not gold, but the thing is that I'm kind of growing on both of them. But as it stands, I do think I slightly prefer Cole. Even though his is the most biggest of a difference, I do still think the design for the most part is still quite faithful. And honestly, I'm not overly mad at an overall, it's just I simply would have preferred the silver. But like I said, Lloyd does come after that because I do think his proportions just look a little bit too off. The main thing is the fact that the belt has been lowered down, and I do think that does make a lot of a difference. But still, on a technicality, I don't hate this minifigure, I just simply think it could have been a lot better and the design could have been proportioned a lot better. And whilst I simply don't want to jump on the J-hate bandwagon, I really can't ignore how much I don't like this minifigure. The thing is that the silver arm and the gold armor just simply clash in every single way. I think honestly, it's complete cognitive dissonance. I really don't understand how they thought this decision was meant to be a good one. I would rather them have just committed to one or the other, and doing both I really do think like it's a massive mistake. I mean, the torso and legs actually do look pretty good, it's just completely ruined by what's above it. But I will save a further opinion on these minifigures for when I actually do get them in hand. But I do think on an overall, this set is the perfect example of what you could have with an anniversary set. This one you could very comfortably get, and you wouldn't really have to get any of the others if you're just simply after the Ninja. This is the perfect way to actually do so. And of course the addition of the Master of Lightning is very good as well. But like I said, this demonstrates in my opinion the perfect problem with these sets so far. The fact that we do have one set that has an amazing roster of minifigures. Of course, only one of them will technically be exclusive, but that's kind of beside the point. But the thing is that you can still get this one set and be basically sorted, whereas you go for a much bigger set and one of them is in this smaller set and the other two are exclusive but just not overly worth the price if you don't care for the build. The thing is that you're just left feeling kind of dissatisfied. Luckily, the Lloyd Titan mech is fantastic, and that is why I will still be justifying it. But honestly, if it was a poor set and that was the minifigure selection, I feel like it would have been a very different outcome. But I still will say on an overall, I am excited to see what they're going to be doing with these sets, and I definitely can't wait to have them in hand, and I really want to see what they do with the further sets. Of course, there are still more that are yet to be revealed, and I do think that'll be very interesting to see, and I will no doubt cover them as soon as they do come out. But I do want to know, what are your opinion on these two sets? Do you like them? Do you dislike them? I would really like to know what your opinion is, because I do find it fairly interesting. But nice, short and sweet, thank you very much for watching, you guys, and subscribe if you do enjoy this kind of review style content. Let me know if you do want more, because I'm more than happy to do so. And if you did, please consider subscribing, or if you do want to support the channel further, becoming a channel member, like the Eternal Legends on screen, and more specifically Grandmaster Sensei 28208, the Eternal Legend. But like I said, that's about it for today, you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. Okay,